Good evening. This is the Starkville Daily News Digital Express for this week. I'm Danny P. Smith, sports editor, and Robbie Faulk is our high school beat writer. And Robbie, it's just that time of the year where we get toward the end of January, and this is the last couple of days of January. And high school basketball is wrapping up the regular season, and they're going to start division tournament play some next week. So it's an exciting time. There's still some seedings left to be determined. Some regular season games are wrapping up, but for the most part, everybody knows what they're going to be doing in the postseason. They're ready to go.
Yeah, this is such a long season. Basketball. It starts, at the middle of fall, and then you get into the spring, and I mean, there's just so many games that are played between all these teams that we have in our area, and it looks like the season's wrapping up, that a lot of these teams are going to have an opportunity to compete for district championships and possible state championships. Obviously, we know what Starkville is. The boys are going to win the division. It looks like the girls are going to have an opportunity to do it as well. Starkville Academy's had a really good year under Bill Ball. East Webster's done pretty well this year. So it looks like we're going to have a chance to go deep into the postseason like we usually do. Covering these teams possibly in Jackson or wherever all the state playoffs are going to be held this year.
The exciting thing for Starkville is they get to host the district tournament, and if they keep winning, they can play all their district tournament games at home and get a couple of games maybe in the state playoffs there. So the Starkville boys are really playing well, and it's not surprising with Greg Carter, at the helm, that they're right back in the thick of things and undefeated in the district.
Yeah, I mean, you'd like to be surprised because it's such a big deal about what he does, but at this point it's just business as usual for him, because every single year, doesn't matter who he's got out there, it doesn't matter who the faces are, he just seems to have them competing for a state championship. And last year I thought was his best coaching job, because he had to replace some great players like Blake Rogers and guys like that. But this year might top it all, because you're seeing a lot.
Where these guys come from?
Yeah, I mean, every year it's kind of that way. But what he's done so well is he's brought these kids along, and they're ready whenever their moment's called. They're all juniors and seniors for the most part.
Right.
So they're new faces to a lot of us that have covered the team, but to him, he's brought them along, and they're really ready when their number's called, like I said, because of the way his program's built. And the way they're playing right now, it would not shock me to see them right back in the state championship game.
Right, and you see Forte Prater, guys like that, Colty Young, both have already been our athlete of the week a couple of times each, I think. And you saw little glimpses of what they could be last year, but they were playing behind some veterans that had earned their playing time and were starting, and they're really kind of getting in there now. But some news that broke this afternoon that was kind of interesting. And Starkville High School's athletic director, Cheyenne Trussell, has agreed to go to Meridian and to be their athletic director. So it's a guy that really did a great job when he was in Starkville, but understand it was a chance for him to go home, and you can't blame a guy for that.
Yeah, graduate of Meridian High School. I mean, Meridian is really a gold mine when it comes to athletics. They have such great talent over there. They just need the right leadership, and they've kind of fallen back in some sports. Now their basketball teams are competitive every single year. Their girls team's probably going to win the state championship this year, but football has really taken a step back. And I think what they're really looking for is a guy that can come in and get them on the right track academically and athletically, and that's what Cheyenne Trussell's done as well as anybody that I've been around as far as an athletic director in high school sports. He puts a premium on academics, and all of his athletes have boosted up. Every single sport has boosted up their academics since he's been there, and they've been competitive in every sport. So he was really remarkable, I thought, in the job that he did at Starkville the last few years. And I thought, he was as good as anybody else's they've had, and they've had some great athletic directors over the last 10 years or so that I've kind of been around high school sports in this area.
Yeah, he's going to definitely be a tough act to follow, because he cared about every sport. Most athletic directors are, but he seemed to be at every match, every signing. He always stood in front of the parents and the fans and everybody, and did the whole speech thing and made everybody feel important. That the signing was a big deal, and he wanted to make the kids feel good about what they were doing and what they had achieved. And it's going to be a hard guy to replace, but it'd be interesting to see what direction Starkville goes from here. And what do you think they'll be looking for in the next AD? I know it's, the first day that we're looking for one.
Yeah, I mean, well, you're always looking to build on what you had beforehand. So you would like to find somebody that's, in the same vein as Dr. Trussell. I thought the way he was headed, I thought that was great for Starkville High School. So, I'm sure they'll try to find somebody that can do as good a job, if not better, than Dr. Trussell. It's going to be tough, but this is a job that a lot of people want. It's going to be a job that draws a lot of names and a lot of big names because of the athletics that they have at Starkville High School. I mean, it's just like as Meridian is, Starkville's a gold mine. I mean, in just about every sport. So it's going to be a job that I think is going to attract a lot of big names, and they should be able to make a pretty good hire.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with Starkville High because they're really in every sport competitive. Usually, they all make the playoffs. So it's going to be real interesting. But of course, on the college scene, the Mississippi State women, as we tape this, which is usually the case on Thursdays, are going to be playing another Southeastern Conference game with Auburn. And the men, to close up today, they really got a big win against Florida the other night. And it's, they look like they're, outside of the disappointment, the loss to Oklahoma, which, was bad, but it's a non-conference, so it didn't affect them in the conference standings. They're looking really good right now.
Yeah, and even the Oklahoma game was, they had a chance to tie or win the ball game in the last possession. So right now, 4 straight SEC wins, could have been 5 straight wins overall had they beaten Oklahoma. They're right back in the thick of things as far as the tournament is concerned and getting in the NCAA tournament. So they're on the right track. That was a huge win at Florida. It was a quadrant 1 win. Mm-hmm. So that counts a little more than some of the others, and that really looks good on the resume. Now you just got to continue to play how you're playing. You got to keep it rolling. And, I think Reggie Perry and Tyson Carter, to me, are the 2 guys that kind of stir the drink for them. If those 2 guys are on, they got a chance against anybody.
Well, they have a big game at home on Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock against Tennessee, so that'd be another big win if they can get it. And I'm sure some others are coming up soon. But that's today's Digital Express. Robbie, thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you all next week.